Thank you so much, His Excellency, for speaking to CNN News 18.
Thank you, Siddhant. It's great to be with you.
Yeah. Sir, how has your journey been in India so far, and are you enjoying the festive vibe which is going on right now?
Well, the first thing is it's been very pacey. I had 3 ministerial visits and the Prime Minister visited my first 4 weeks here. I've also travelled a lot. In my first 8 weeks, I travelled to 8 Indian cities. I come here at a very special time in our bilateral relationship. I come here at a time of unique closeness, and we've seen the genuine intimacy between our 2 Prime Ministers, both on visits to Australia and our Prime Minister's visit here. And I've seen that up close with the 2 of them meeting at the G20. But it's more than just sentiment. You know, there are 3 powerful drivers behind our bilateral relationship at the moment. An unprecedented level of strategic alignment, a very strong sense of complementarity between our 2 economies, where our green energy transition, our critical minerals, our ability to fuel India's need for training for its young people are at an all-time high. And thirdly, the third driver is the human bridge. The around 1 million people of Indian origin who now live in Australia who are making great contribution to our society. So it's a unique time to be here as an ambassador, and I'm planning to make the most of it.
High Commissioner, I want to draw your attention to this recent diplomatic standoff which is going on between India and Canada. And for that, I also want to read the statements given by the US Ambassador to Canada and also the Director of the Australian Security Intelligence Organization. Now, David Cohen, the US Ambassador, said that there was a shared intelligence among the Five Eyes partners that helped lead Canada for making statement that Prime Minister Trudeau did. In fact, the Australian Security Intelligence Chief said that he has no reasons to dispute Canada's claim. High Commissioner, how do you look at these 2 statements, and also can you confirm that there is evidence between the Five Eyes alliance countries? Can you confirm there is a credible evidence present between these nations?
Well, Siddhant, it's not my policy, it's not my practice to comment on intelligence matters, so I won't be going there. Let me say this. I've had a lot of experience, practical experience as a diplomat. This is my 5th time as ambassador. And that tells me that there are some moments when it's better that less is said about issues rather than more. I would point you to the comments that our Foreign Minister has made. They're available to you and to your viewers on the internet, and I don't propose to go any further than those. But let me put this in a different frame. Canada is an old friend of Australia, and India is a dear friend of Australia. I think you and your viewers know what it's like in a family situation, in a work situation, in a friendship situation when 2 of your dearest friends are having difficulties. That's painful. It's painful for us.
Okay.
It's difficult for us.
Okay.
We want, as soon as is practicable, for India and Canada to find a new settling point for their bilateral relationship. And we hope that that will be sooner rather than later, and we hope that that will lead to a resumption of a normal relationship between those 2.
Okay. His Excellency, after the carnage at a hospital in Gaza, many political observers, geopolitical experts were expecting that to be a turning point in a war, or perhaps, we could reach at a place where ceasefire could have been announced. But what we're looking at right now is that still countries like US, UK, India, Australia, Canada, all are still backing Israel. And perhaps there are 2 demands. One is for an immediate ceasefire. Other is to secure the humanitarian corridor in Gaza. What is your country's position given the rise of humanitarian crisis in Gaza and also the civilians held hostage by Hamas terrorists?
So, very appropriate question at this very difficult time for everyone in the international community. And our clear response is that what we are looking for is humanitarian pauses. The situation in Gaza at the moment is dire. We have long called for the protection of human life, and we have civilian life, and we have called for humanitarian access. Now, some humanitarian access has begun, but it's not enough. And that's why we're calling for humanitarian pauses to be able to get enough supplies into Gaza to meet the needs of the Gazan people.
Okay. High Commissioner, as a career diplomat, I want to ask you that excessive diplomacy has been put in place by many countries in West Asia, perhaps to bring some sort of a consensus or to make sure that it doesn't turn out to be a regional conflict, because stakes are high, and especially the West Asian countries, the way they are reacting to these developments. Do you see that the world organizations have failed? Do you see that diplomacy has failed once again? Because we were already going through war, which is happening in Europe, and perhaps we all are badly affected because of that. And now here we have a situation where other war has started and perhaps is at a risk of turning into a regional conflict.
Diplomacy has its place.
Okay.
Not everything that we want will be able to be achieved, but it's important that we all try hard. That's why our Foreign Minister has been in touch in recent times with the Foreign Minister of Israel, the Foreign Minister of the Palestinian Authority, the Foreign Minister of the UAE, the Foreign Minister of Jordan, the Foreign Minister of a range of other countries who are involved in this. We are active, the Americans are active, I see that the French and the British are active. Will it achieve all of the ambitions that we hope? Probably not.
Okay.
Are a range of players doing their utmost? I think it's reasonable to say yes. But the situation is critical. The humanitarian situation is dire, and in particular for Australia, getting humanitarian pauses in place to allow that situation to be ameliorated is the most important immediate objective.
Okay. Since I have this opportunity, so I want to ask you that there are reports that India is planning Quad meeting in January on the occasion of Republic Day, and perhaps we can expect Australian Prime Minister to be in New Delhi again. If you can confirm and also can elaborate a little bit, that is it going to happen?
Nice one, Siddhant.
Yeah.
The responsibility for announcing the dates of the next year's Quad Summit lies with Prime Minister Modi. I'm not in the business of taking that away from him. I did talk to our Prime Minister at the G20 about next year's Quad Summit. He's very much looking forward to it, and once dates are settled, he'll be very keen to come. Can I just say this to you about substance, though?
Yes.
The last time I came to India before I was assigned here was in 2018. At that time, I was responsible for the Quad file in Canberra. And where we are now is just so different to where we were then. In those days, we were having occasional meetings at senior official level, not with ministers, not always issuing a communique, no work program, etc. Now, annual meetings at leaders level, clear work programs, achievements on the ground in the areas of health security, infrastructure, any range of fields that we're operationalising. So we are in a totally new new field in the Quad, and I can't identify myself a four-country grouping that has gone so far, so fast as the Quad has over the last 5 years.
Okay. High Commissioner, there are some subjects in which a lot of work is being done but are less talked about. The subjects are like energy transition, critical minerals. If you can elaborate a little bit that how both countries are collaborating on these subjects and perhaps working together.
Good point. So on critical minerals, we foresee a time where Australian lithium, Australian cobalt will be fueling India's massive industry in electric vehicles and electric batteries. How do we get from here to there? Well, there are two big activities going on. Between the two governments, we've identified 5 projects in Australia. This is mining projects in Australia for lithium and cobalt, which will be of interest to Indian firms. That's going on. Separately to that, and this goes to the level of demand in this country, individual Indian companies are coming to me and saying, where can we get access to Australian resources in the field of lithium in particular? And our trade promotion people are helping them. So that's one aspect that's really powerful. The other aspect that I think is very important is this. We in Australia, we plan to have green energy capability on a giga scale. And for that, we will need inputs. In particular, we will need inputs of solar panels. We want to make sure that there is a diversified supply of solar panels from a range of countries, and your country is a key country that we see as a major manufacturer of solar panels. That's why we have a solar alliance, and we are working together so that Australian technology can help build an Indian industry of creating millions of solar panels.
Interesting. Very last question. Cricket World Cup is going on. Team India is doing good, but it looks like the Australian team is not in the best of the form. Are you tracking the developments, and what is your take on the way World Cup is going forward?
Oh, well, first of all, on Australia, we had a couple of early losses, but the boys are in good spirit. I saw them on Sunday night, Dave Warner and Alex Carey and the others, Cameron Green, all in pretty good shape. I think they feel as though they had a bit of a ropey start, but things are now on the up and up. I think they are. I'll be there to support them tonight against the Netherlands, and on Saturday in Dharamsala against New Zealand. More broadly about the tournament, of course, India is doing very well, and they are clearly the team to beat. I think what's sort of charming about this tournament is the success of some of the less qualified teams. You know, the Netherlands winning matches, Afghanistan winning matches, and I think that makes for a great contest, a great spectacle. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Thank you so much, High Commissioner, for speaking to us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.